This is Tyre Metalhead Weatherman. I hope you guys are having a good Tuesday. So, I really wasn't expecting to make any real video tonight, but lo and behold, things have transpired here in regards to severe weather tonight, and needless to say, it was a marginal risk. It was up to a slight risk, and there's been plenty of activity. Been a tornado report and a multitude of wind and hail reports today, and we'll go into detail about that in just a moment. Before I get into it here, if you guys like what I'm doing, drop a like, comment, subscribe, share. Help me get this algorithm out here. Try to bring you guys even better weather-related content in the future. Let's get right into it though. And here's our ongoing severe weather threat. Nothing really changed with the marginal risk, but you can see right around Virginia, towards the Richmond and Virginia Beach area, we have a slight risk. We're on the downtrending side of this, as this weather is going to be moving off the coast later tonight. But when we look at the reports though, we have one tornado report, 55 high wind reports, and then we also have 13 hail reports. In total, we have 69 reports of severe weather today. It's pretty active for what we call a marginal risk. So it's pretty wild, but hey, that's how it goes sometimes. There's always a bunch of last minute stuff that can end up happening with these storms. So that's why I always try to cover these as best as I can, or as quickly as I can. I think I could have covered it more in depthly in more recent videos, but I'll try and be a little bit more thorough in the next one. In this one, because we do have a marginal risk for tomorrow now. Originally, this was no severe. There were thunderstorms, but nothing was expected to be severe. And then we have a marginal risk on Thursday. Maybe tomorrow we will talk about Friday's severe weather threat, because maybe by late Wednesday evening we'll finally be in range to talk about this. So for right now, we're gonna go straight into the NAM here. Try to get as much range as we can. And we're going to take a look at the ongoing severe weather. Now it's associated with this low pressure. We already discussed this in the previous video. And also, just a little side note here. This is actually my 50th video on this channel already. We started making videos in March, towards the end of April. We've been on quite a grind lately. Hope to continue that, and I hope you guys have liked what's been going on. But we can see here, this is our catalyst here, our low pressure that's going to be moving off the coast late tonight. We'll watch this move off to the east, bring a little bit more severe weather with it. I think the worst of the threat is honestly over. We're pretty much going to be at this point by late night into early morning hours. And then late into Wednesday afternoon, that's when we're expecting our storms to pop up here. The area of interest is going to be around the Panhandle of Texas, Panhandle, Oklahoma, and into Kansas. Right around this time frame, they're real small, but you can see these little isolated storms popping up here. The environment is conducive enough for marginal severe weather. Temperatures aren't the most impressive thing I've seen, but there are sufficient lapse rates at the mid-levels of the atmosphere, which is something that you would be looking for. There's even a little slight curve on the heliograph, so this could go a little bit tornadic here. I don't expect a major outbreak of any kind, but just as we saw today, anything can happen. And even then, I still wouldn't call today an outbreak. It was just quite a few strong storms, and they produced. So that's why I say, even if it's a marginal risk, just be prepared, because you never know what could happen. So we look into the late night hours on Wednesday, going in towards the wee hours of Thursday. You see a small line of storms here, and the probable hazard type is severe. As it's pushing further to the east, it tends to get into a more favorable environment. The dew points aren't the most impressive, but the instability looks a lot more sufficient. Lapse rate's at a slightly lower level in the atmosphere. Still a curve in the hordeograph, but it's kind of, the wind shear isn't all that impressive. I don't expect there to be a really high low-level jet. There isn't really much cape to go with either. We're averaging at about maybe 1,000 joules per kilogram. I mean, it's sufficient enough for severe weather, but it's not going to cause any kind of outbreak, if that's what you're wondering. So we move this along again because I keep on losing my place there. We'll look here one more time because I thought I saw a marginal tornado threat on the hordeograph on one of these soundings. Doesn't seem like I can find it. I think it was more towards Texas, maybe. Nope. Well, I can't seem to find it now unless... Nope. Maybe I misread it. Because there is another severe weather threat tomorrow, and I did remember seeing a tornadic hordeograph on there. Or maybe it was here. There it is. So this is heading into the late night and overnight hours as well. This is over towards the Panhandle, Oklahoma, and Texas. So be aware for a potential nocturnal tornado. I don't expect it to be insane, but the chance isn't zero. So I expect to see a 2% on the tornado on the SPC come tomorrow morning if it's not there now. So move this along, and it's going to be pretty much the same scenario on Thursday. Some isolated storms popping up late. Trying to get a good idea of what's going on from the hordeograph, and it's going to be on the southern side of what looks like this MCS here. I don't expect a major tornado threat from this. I think this is actually going to be less of a tornado threat from this MCS than the storms that will be popping up on Wednesday night. But then, interestingly enough, in that same region that we got yesterday, we get some more discrete cells, and I think this one has a slightly higher tornado threat, especially the one towards the Panhandle of Texas, if I remember correctly. As the night goes on, this low-level jet really starts to kick in, as I've been explaining in previous videos, and I'm having trouble finding that storm. Wait, I think that might be it right there to the south. No, I don't know. I cannot seem to remember where I looked at the sounding on these storms a few minutes ago. Well, just looks like severe for the most part. If so, that's a good thing. Maybe it was in Kansas too, though. I'm going to try that one more time. Nope. So I can't find that storm that I was looking at earlier. It's making me look like a crazy person. To those of you that know me, you're probably saying, Ty, you are a crazy person. If so, that's fine. Screw you too. But let's look at the Cape here real quick. Oops, I don't have this in the loop mode. Yeah, here we go. So we're just gonna wait for this to load, or better yet, we'll go to the low-level jet, kind of see what we're working with for tomorrow. This low-level jet kind of kicks up a bit into the overnight hours, into the late evening overnight hours. We don't have any super impressive values. We're kind of hanging around that 30, 40, maybe trying to sneak towards 50 by the overnight hours. Yeah, but you see what I'm saying here. It's not, the values aren't insane. Well after the storms pop up in Kansas, that's when we start to see the low-level jet really kick up, but the storm's already gone by this point. I'm looking for an area of resurgence right around here. Ooh. And I think into the overnight hours, there could be some nocturnal tornadoes around here. Even though the NAM isn't picking up on it, I do think this low-level jet is more than sufficient enough to drop a few tornadoes once because we're getting into that 40, we're getting past the 40 knot mark, getting into the 50s, maybe even pushing 55 here. So it's definitely some sufficient tornado juice, as we call it, in this area here. And there were storms in this area around the time on the reflexivity model around this time frame. So we'll have to watch that really closely in the coming days. All right, now this Cape model should be loaded up for me real nice. Yeah, we're good now. So, like I said, I'm not expecting super high Cape values. See, we're looking at isolated areas of 1,000, mostly areas around 700 and 900, a little below, everything below 1,000 pretty much. A little bit around New Mexico. You might even see a few storms pop up there. Whether they go severe or not, I'm not quite certain of. In fact, I'm honestly thinking not. And look what happens Thursday night, though, especially towards the Panhandle. This is what definitely has my attention and has me concerned with a potential severe weather threat here. I do think Thursday has a potential to maybe even be increased to a slight risk. I mean, we do have sufficient wind shear, we have sufficient low-level jet, and we have sufficient Cape. So it's going to be something that's more than worth looking at in the coming days. But this is all I got for you guys tonight. This has been Tire Metalhead Weatherman. Oh, one more thing. I've made the Hurricane Outlook video. Look for that tomorrow morning. I'll have a premiere set up. If you have the bell clicked on for me to pop up in your notifications, you'll know what time exactly. But just keep an eye out for it. But again, it's been Tire Metalhead Weatherman. I'll see you tomorrow. You guys have a good night.